everyone, Zoelle Rose here, coming to you live from southern Germany. So, I'm really homesick. Every day I get on my computer and I read the news about what's going on back in the States. And every day there's another story about someone being shot, someone being gruesomely murdered, someone dying in a horrible accident. And when you read the description of this person, they were always the most wonderful person in the world. They were like an angel brought down from heaven to bring light and joy and love to everyone in their lives. You know, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, it is a tragic loss for humanity, right? And I'm thinking, is it only good people who die horribly? I mean, what is it? Does they have some kind of like sign in their forehead, like a beam of light shining out saying, good person, good person, good person, good person. And then when there's some guy running around, some psychopath running around with a gun, and he's looking for somebody's shoes, he sees that beam of light, he goes, that one. Just once, I would like to read that there was a horrible accident, an avalanche, and someone was buried under that snow. And a colleague gets up and says about him, he was the biggest fucking asshole in the world. Good riddance. Right? Come on, God, show us some justice. Get rid of the bad guys. Send out the floods. Send out the avalanches. Send out the fires. Leave us our angels, please. Now, whenever I read stuff like this, I think about my relationships. Terrible history with relationships. My first long-term boyfriend, classic narcissist. You never meet anyone more completely enthralled with every single little physiological process going on in their body. I sit across the table from this guy at dinner, and he starts chewing very deliberately. And I'm sitting watching this, and he's going... I'm looking at him, I'm going, what are you doing? And he would smile very proudly and say, I'm masticating. Isn't that fascinating, darling? Come on, ladies, you know what I'm talking about, right? That adoring gaze. Anyway, he had 3 topics of conversation at the dinner table. First topic of conversation, his favorite topic was his bowel movements. So I'm sitting there trying to eat my dinner. On he goes. He wants to describe the color, the shape, the smell, the consistency. And I'm going, oh, aren't you fascinating, darling? That's so clever. Next topic of conversation, computers. Now that's romantic, right? Oh, aren't you fascinating, darling? You're such a genius. Third topic of conversation, his brother. His younger, James Dean lookalike brother. And I'm like, this is interesting. Huh. I can hear about this. Sure, you want him to come and stay with us for a few months. Absolutely. Bring it on. Now this guy asked me every day for 2 years to marry him. Now he never bought a ring, never got down on his knees and said, you know, the classic thing, I love you. I want to spend my whole life with you. No. This guy will just come up to me and go, are you getting married? And I'd be like, are we getting married? And he'd be like, are we getting married? And I'm like, no, we're not getting married. Now to this day, he thinks that the reason I didn't want to marry him is because of our somewhat lackluster romantic life. And the fact that I got along a little bit too well with that James Dean lookalike brother. Yeah, what do you think I am, stupid? Anyway, the real reason I didn't want to marry this guy, twofold. First thing, fell off my bike, broke my collarbone. Couldn't move my arm or my shoulder for 6 weeks. Now, at this time in my life, I was an artist. I was a painter. I made paintings. Well, I couldn't build my stretchers or stretch my canvases with a broken collarbone. So I went to my darling boyfriend and said, darling boyfriend, can you please help me and build my stretchers so I can do my work? And he's like, no way, not unless you pay me in cash. And I'm like, and you asked me to marry you? Second thing, sitting on the subway one day, there's a young woman by herself. Some guy gets up and comes over and starts harassing her, hassling her. She's getting visibly nervous and worried looking. So another guy gets up and comes over to this first guy and says, you know what, leave her alone, get lost. So I turned to my then boyfriend and I said, if that were me, if there was some guy standing in front of us right now harassing me, would you stand up and defend me? And he said, no way, I would just run away and save myself. And I'm thinking, and you want me to marry you? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I finally leave the guy. I get this long letter from him. He's threatening to kill himself. And I'm like, really? How hard is it to find somebody to sit and listen to you talk about your bowel movements? And in this letter, never once did he say how much he loved me. Never once did he say, I'll do anything to make you happy. No, no, no. His big selling point was, if I would just sit there and listen, he would open up completely and tell me all the little fascinating things about himself that he could possibly think of. Please just sit there and listen to me talk about myself. And I'm like, fuck this. 3 months later, this guy has a new girlfriend. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I spent 5 years with this guy because he said he needed me. I could have left after 5 months. Live and learn, right? Anyway, Zoelle Rose saying, los.